Hello, my name is Ignatius Mortimer Meen, and I live inside of a garbage can. Just kidding. That's Oscar the Grouch, and I am not Ignatius Mortimer Meen at all. However, I did encounter him one day in his video game form, and it caused me so much pain that I'm surprised I could even tell you this right now. I'm surprised that he didn't tear out my vocal cords, but perhaps he wanted me to pass on the story to the consumer in the event that you'll also purchase his game. 'Cause that's the way it works. Lonely person listens to lonely narrator narrate on the internet. They go off and go searching on the deep dark web of Turonion in search of if it's really real. Well, let me tell you something, Bubby Brister. It's real. I'm real. The game is real, and I just lost the game. Lost into the game. Lost into the game. Forever. I first encountered the Burger King Impossible Whopper at a yard sale at my grandpappy's house. Grandpappy had passed on, and by that I mean he moved out without telling us where he moved, and he left off his haunted estate to us because, according to his will, but not a will because supposedly he wasn't actually dead, he hated us. Fine by me. I didn't like the old bastard anyway. I took a bite out of the Impossible Whopper that my mother bought me because she's a hippie vegan and it was okay. I guess. But it tasted kind of like peanuts and I had a peanut allergy. I started convulsing and farting and vomiting and I fell on the grass and vomited and farted and shit my pants. The police came by and arrested me. After interrogating me, accusing me of being homeless despite my mama's insistence that I was her baby, kicking me out of the homeless shelter for misidentifying on a racial identification form for an evaluator job at Western Governors University online many years ago. I was back at the yard sale, but I was walking on crutches and the homeless shelter doctor had prescribed me Beano for my unrelatable gas. Mama Hatler, that's our last name, though Mama did try to keep her maiden name. Daddy wouldn't have it. Was just about to pop her car keys into her car keyhole when she remembered something that would scar me for the rest of my life. Thanks, Mom. Your grandfather wanted you to have something before you died, Alfie, she said. Before I died? Anyway, Alfalfa is my first name. Remember, my mother is a vegan hippie hipster. I just found it in the glove compartment. She beckoned me to come over, and I shrieked in unrelenting horror. My very own mother had pulled a gun on me. Her baby, Alfie Hatler Jr. Burger, but no. It was a water pistol. Ha ha. Very funny. TBS. Thank you, Mom. She reached back into the glove compartment. It's a very old CD-ROM. It's better than a floppy disk. Disc. I was just thinking about your father. Well, thank you, Mom. I grabbed the CD-ROM and ran upstairs to play it, neglecting the gentleman who wanted to buy my Bazooka Joe bubblegum comic card collection for $576. I reached for the coax cables before remembering it was a game and not a VHS tape, and opened up the jewel case, thrashing the disc into the disc holder so hard that I slashed my thumb on the disc drive. Fuck you, Grandpa. His computer tower was made out of rusty old razors, barbed wire, and melted Barbie doll corpses blended with papier-mâché. The title screen popped up on the monitor. I was scared. I am mean? As in, I am mean? What sort of message was that supposed to send to children? Assuming this game was for children, since all video games are for children and do not qualify as art. I walked through an intro in which an elderly old librarian who seemed to have a strange obsession with children sang and danced about wanting to lock children up in a labyrinth for knowing how to read. I noticed by his skin pigmentation that he was likely Hispanic, but I don't see race, so I'm not sure.
Oh, look, what clever children. See them study, watch them learn. How I hate those goody-goodies. How they make my stomach turn.
Maybe the guy should just try not being around kids. Did you know that Dr. Seuss actually hated children? Seriously, look it up. I started playing the game, and it was a first-person shooter Doom knockoff, except you had to correct the spelling of shit instead of blow up heart imps with a super shotgun. I got kind of bored pretty quickly until I noticed something was not quite right. This was peculiar. According to a search on Bing, there were gnomes in the game that interacted with you during cutscenes and were supposed to work for I Am Meen, but were secretly helping you. But instead, the cutscenes, they were all pictures of my grandfather reenacting scenes from various American wars. Was this supposed to be some sort of sick joke? There was my grandfather telling the French that he wouldn't help them, even though they're responsible for securing American freedom. There was my granddad telling Stonewall Jackson to go ram his dick up against the stone wall and report his findings about what happened to his reproductive organs to a private. There was Grampy himself telling Harry S. Truman that Operation Super Mario was going to be a huge success. I put my keyboard down, and by that I mean I slammed it to the ground. Operation Super Mario? Get real. The game had me up until that. But no. No, I was scared. And by that I mean I was really, really scared. There were just so many unanswered questions. I knew that my grandfather wasn't dead, but where was he, and why was he in this horrible 286 processor monochrome monitor with MIDI sound blaster speaker sound effects PC video game CD-ROM? Why'd he give it all to me? I was just about to give up, but I wanted to finish the level first. I fought a mischievous illiteracy monster who apparently didn't like it. I corrected his use of there. Took 3 shots to the head with a spitball gun, but he peeled over and died and turned into purple smoke. And then the game turned into a cutscene. A cutscene that I could never forget for the rest of my life. It was I Am Meen, but he looked sad. I mean, his eyes had been replaced by black voids, and his nose fell off like Michael Jackson post-rhinoplasty, but I could tell it was him, that he was sad. He stared directly into my eyes, which I could somehow tell he was doing somehow.
I don't actually hate children,
he whispered.
It's just that I'm gay.
Fuck? What did that have to do with anything?
Just kidding. I'm not gay. Thank you for finding the secret ending to the I Am Meen computerized video game. Now go look in the nearest mirror and shout Bloody Marty 3 times, bookworm.
I Am Meen exploded after that. The screen turned red and yellow for guts. I wondered what kind of guts those were. They were very gross. I didn't want to see an old person's guts. I vomited. The aftertaste of vomiting sucks, but I did it anyway because I couldn't help myself. I was going to press power on the razory computer tower when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a single lightning bolt, it was otherwise sunny that day, hit my entire house and home. The power went out, and the bathroom burnt down. I could smell the fiery shits and hear my mom freaking out, but it was too late for me now. Too late for me to use the bathroom mirror. I ran downstairs to the local Kmart and asked to use the men's dressing room. I tried on a pair of Batman underwear. It felt good. Fit all nice and snug. Made me feel like a superhero when I wear Batman underwear. Bloody Marty, I said to the mirror. Nothing. Must have had to try it again. Bloody Marty, I said again. Still nothing. What the fuck was this? Alright, one more time, and if it didn't work, I'd go home. Bloody Marty, I screamed. Shut the fuck up in there, the dressing room attendant yelled. I was going to extend a middle finger out the door and right up into his face when it happened. everything around me changed. I was dizzy. The whole world was dizzy. I threw up again. I knew Kmart was going out of business, and that wouldn't help their image, but I threw up even more. I closed my eyes. I was too dizzy. It was like when I was a little kid and would spin around in circles and pretend I'd reawaken Pistachio Land, a magical land in which everything tastes like pistachios, including the people, and it was socially accessible to eat people, because they always reappeared in the next panel, yeah. But no, I was not in Pistachio Land. I was not in Pistachio Land at all. I was in the magical labyrinth of I Am Meen. Granddad? I reached out to hug him. It'd been so very long. 2 full days. But Grandpa broke my heart. He broke my heart instead. He shoved me away.
Here's a rhyme for you. I knew a gay little grandson who tried not to go to school, but he got good grades instead, so I moved away and disowned him.
That didn't rhyme.
Would you like another?
His fizzy hair fizzled. I didn't get it.
I knew a once proud father whose wife gave birth to a hippie girl. I told him not to have children, but he married, and she married, and she gave birth, and he gave birth to little Alfalfa Hitler.
That doesn't rhyme, grandfather, I stated between tears.
One more for the road. I knew a grandfather who was so fucking lucky. He broke into Area 51. He stumbled upon government secrets, and now he lives in a video game where he captures children and keeps them for graduating junior high school English.
I stared at my grandfather. This was not like him. I stared at his skin pigment. I realized the shocking truth. My grandfather is Hispanic. You're Caucasian.
That's right, you little shit. It is I, Ignatius Mortimer Meen of the SS Army. Remember this?
He showed me a picture of me hugging my big red dog Rover. How the fuck did I Mean get this picture?
How the fuck did you get this? I Mean, you're thinking?
My jaw dropped and hit the floor because I was stuck in a video game dimension.
Where do you think your father actually went, Bookworm? And where do you think your grandfather went? Did Grandpappy actually leave you 2 days ago? Or... let's do the time warp again. Ha 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 ha.
And that's when it all hit me. For real this time. I didn't have a peanut allergy. I never had a peanut allergy. Who had told me I had a peanut allergy? Fake grandpa, not my real grandfather. I Mean had captured my real grandfather. I Mean had been mind-controlling me by claiming that I had an allergic reaction to peanuts as a placebo. Fuck you, I Mean, I yelled. I grabbed a letter H from the wall and threw it at him, but as a sorcerer he cast a fell, and a spew of brown, crusty waste splashed at me and splashed it away and into my face. I never knew a fucking H could hurt so much. As for what happened next, Meen zapped me in the mouth next. It tasted like chocolate, but it wasn't chocolate at all. It was a teleportation device. My cells crushed into quantum bits and I died before re-emerging in a cell. A jail cell. With my grandfather. I always was a kid at heart, Grandfather muttered under his breath. I sighed. At least I'd never have to go to school again.